Brebebe, I guess that's how you say it, door anchor strap. Hi, I'm Jonathan Pritchett with Theology, Geek, Fitness, and in this video I'm going to give my review of that. I got this a little while ago. I think when I bought it, it was like on a discount, but I think it's regular price $20. And it's basically a strap with multiple anchor points, and it works on a cam buckle system, so you can adjust it no matter how tall your door is. You can make it work, and it's not that hard to set up. As you can see in the B-roll, you just go over the door, and then there's a place where you know that this right here over the door right there, so it's kind of sits on the door like that, and that's where you know where it goes at the top of the door. And it gives you multiple attachment points where you can attach resistance tubes, or you can run resistance tubes through the thing, or you can attach resistance bands like the loop bands onto it, or you can connect carabiners to the D-ring attachments that they have here. And it's actually quite handy, it's quite helpful. So with resistance tubes, you can just run it through the loop if you wanted to, and set that up for multiple exercises. You can, if you wanted to do it, you can place different tubes at different of the attachments there for quick change out. Or if you wanted to use resistance bands, you can just knot one or even more bands at various spots on that. One of the things that I don't like about it, when using the 41-inch loop bands, one of the reasons why this is my favorite door anchor is because it's easier to get the loop bands off of this thing. So there's like a dozen different brands that come out with this particular kind of door anchor, but for loop bands, it doesn't cinch down too tightly on this, whereas if it's just the nylon, like what you have with this, sometimes when you're using the loop bands knotted off onto these things, it can cinch down, and it can be really difficult to get, not terribly difficult, but a little bit of a hassle to get the bands off when they cinch down on the nylon like that. It's one of the problems with a lot of door anchors for loop bands. That's why the good, smart companies actually put either something like this or some kind of piece of plastic tubing or something around it so the bands don't cinch down too much. So, but if you don't worry about that kind of thing, and like, well, if it takes a little bit more to get it, effort to get it off because you're tightening that knot every time you did a rep, you don't care. It's not that big. I don't care too much. But that would be like the one con that I would think about this. But where this thing really shines for me is I use the T2 Fusion Trainer a lot. It's one of my favorite pieces of home gym equipment. I consider it probably the best of all of them. And the thing attaches, whether it's the housing unit or it's the housing unit is connected to the bungee connects carabiners. And so does the housing unit. And being able to move quickly anchor spots without having to move a door anchor. The T2 Fusion Trainer does come with a door anchor, or you can get multiple extra ones. But when you have something like this, and the T2 Fusion Trainer people ought to consider coming out with something like this. But higher quality, of course, because this, not the highest quality. But it's not bad, you get what you pay for $20. There's no unraveling, there's no tears in this, so it's worked fine. But, come up with something a little bit nicer. They should look into that, because one of the great things about this is when you're doing exercises and switching them up, and like me, sometimes I really like to do supersets. So as soon as I finish a set, I like to superset it with a different exercise. So with chest press, or chest exercise, chest fly, whatever, I'll superset that with an overhead press of some kind. And so just walking back to the anchor, unhooking the carabiners and hooking it to another spot without having to move or adjust any door anchors or anything, that is where this thing really shines in my own personal use. So for that reason, I typically keep this in my T2 Fusion Trainer bag, simply because that's what I really use this primarily for. But if you use loop bands, it'll work for that. Not the best solution. Too tube bands it works really well for, but I'm just not a fan of using tube bands very often, so I don't really use it for that. But anything that attaches with a carabiner that you need to anchor to a door, this thing is really handy. And like for me, like I said, for the T2 Fusion Trainer, it's probably the best indoor solution that I found for quickly moving through exercises. So that's why I got that, really, is for the D-rings. But, throwing in some loop band stuff if you need it, it can do that. And for tube bands, which is kind of the primary thing, the Brebebe, or however you say the company's name, they're primarily marketing this thing for tube bands. But I like the D-rings for the carabiner attachments from my T2 Fusion Trainer. So I like it a lot. It may serve some sort of good purpose for you, no matter what kind of resistance bands, resistance tubes, whatever you want to attach multiple bands, or if you want to quickly move between bands and positions on the multiple anchor points. It's a great little thing for not a whole lot of money, and takes a little bit of hassle out of switching between exercises. And like I said, it takes less than a minute to put it around your door, so its setup is not really a problem at all. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Brebebe, whatever, door anchor strap.